It's time to talk sports. It's Hacksaw's Headlines, a panorama of the world of sports, stories, comments, and opinions.
Touchdown, San Diego!
Now, here's iconic sports talk show host Lee Hacksaw Hamilton and co-host John Riley.
Who wants to talk sports on a Thursday? We do, you do. From the DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Center studios in San Diego, we welcome you to our Thursday podcast, Hacksaw's Headlines. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, along with my co-host John Riley. Special starting time because we had some schedule conflicts. We're going to be here for the next hour plus. We have a ton of topics on the table. This podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers, 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. You got projects, they've got materials. You want ideas, they can help you. Go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things that they have to offer DIXIELINE Lumber. The memo from John Riley to Lee Hamilton was dress accordingly for Thursday's podcast. I did. We're celebrating the World Series. So did he. I don't know if that's Dodger blue or Blue Jay blue, but we welcome you to this Thursday podcast. You ready for some baseball? You ready for some football? Man, there's a lot to cover.
Yeah, basketball start too. Yeah, nice sweatshirt right there. You need to get like a Brooklyn Dodgers shirt or a Brooklyn Dodgers hat.
It's the Brooklyn Dodger logo. That's why I'm wearing
okay,
it.
well, you know, I'll give the Dodgers credit. They have a classic logo, and the Pantone 286, it's timeless.
And I'm a classic talk show host.
There you go.
Hey, listen, we do sports talk the way it should be done. We put topics on the table, we express opinions, and then we open it up to you. Who's having coffee early with us on a Thursday? John, it's called Fans Forum. How does it work?
Okay, already Dodger lover, Padre haters are piling into Fans Forum. Okay, if you have a question or comment in the world of sports, this is your chance to talk to the big man, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, over here. If you have a question, just type it in the live chat on X, on YouTube, on Facebook. We'll get you involved in Fans Forum. There's a lot to talk about right now.
If you like sports, you need to check my website. I write on it every day of the week. Just go to LeeHacksawHamilton.com. Read the best 15 minutes in sports every day and my one man's opinion column. In addition, want you to follow me on social media. Want you to share and subscribe. When you do that, when you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you will get the alerts every time we put something up on the YouTube channel in addition to the podcast, and we do that quite often. We want you to get on my email list. You can do that by going to the website. There's an orange box. Join Hacksaw's Insiders Group. You'll probably get 2 emails a day of late-breaking stories and other information. Just fill out that orange box on the website. Need to be part of my social media, Twitter All-Star Team on X. Want you to follow me there. Just type in my name, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. Hit the follow button. That way you get to participate in all my Hacksaw mini polls. I do mini polls every evening as it relates to the world of sports. So we're going a lot of different directions. We're just having an unbelievable amount of information to get to you. And again, we're normally here Mondays at 1:30, Thursdays at 1:30, but we had some scheduling snafus today, so we decided to come early, and John said dress accordingly, so I have to celebrate the World Series. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I love the Fall Classic and the history of the Fall Classic, and there's so many kind of cool storylines. So, John, let's just start hitting home run balls, throw hard balls. Let's talk baseball.
Look at this headline. The Evil Empire versus O Canada.
Well, that fits. Let's talk about the Dodgers. Let's talk about the Toronto Blue Jays. One there that we expected to be there. The other one who slugged and slogged their way through this. You got this gold standard Dodger pitching staff. And Friday night at 5 p.m., Blake Snell will start for the Dodgers. The guy's become a scientist rather than just a thrower on the mound. This is the most unique year that he's had, and he's only had a partial season because he was hurt. I think he's become a student of the game. Snell is 3-0 in postseason, has given up 2 runs in 21 innings, has struck out 38 batters in those 21 innings, and get this, has only walked 5 guys in postseason. The Dodgers' rotation collectively in all the playoff games has a 1.40 ERA. Opponents, John, against the Dodgers in the playoffs are hitting 132. The Dodgers have given up only 2 home runs in all the playoffs, and the Dodgers, obviously, their starters are 9-1. And when you need somebody in the bullpen, you make the call. Roki Sasaki picks up the phone. Sasaki, 8 innings in the playoffs, has given up 1 run, 3 hits, has 6 strikeouts. He has become their closer. And the Dodgers are hitting the Blue Jays right from the get-go. Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, then Ohtani. That's their 4-man front. Long relief, Sheehan, Kershaw. Have to make a decision what they're doing with maybe the last relief spot. Is it Tanner Scott activated? Will it be Ben Kasparis? That bears watching. Here's a unique facet to this World Series. What's happened in every series leading into this one for the Dodgers? Ohtani has seen a lifetime of left-handed pitching. Toronto's rotation, all right-handers.
No, perfect.
Ohtani won't face any left-handers there.
Oh, here we go.
And, of course, the Dodger bullpen has got some improvement. Vesia and Banda have really started to pitch well in their designed 7th and 8th inning roles to get the Dodgers to Sasaki. At home plate, Will Smith is hitting .286. Betts is hitting .283 in postseason. Edmonds hitting .286. Kiki Hernandez, super utility guys, hitting .306 in October. Granted, Ohtani's not hitting except for the bombs. He's hitting .220. Freddie Freeman, .236. Max Muncy, .214. The Dodgers in postseason are hitting as a team .256 with 13 home runs. I don't think we've seen the best of the Dodger lineup yet. We've obviously seen the gold standard pitching staff. As for the Blue Jays, Vlad is the man. Vlad Guerrero in the playoffs, .442, 6 home runs.
Wow.
George Springer's hitting .309. Lost in all the conversation in Toronto. Nobody's paying any attention to the rest of the batting order. Ernie Clements hitting .429. Addison Barger's hitting .333. And they got Varsho, they got Lukes, they got Kirk, they got Jimenez. As a playoff team, nobody's mentioned this. Toronto's hitting .296 in the playoffs.
Wow.
.296 with 20 home runs. During the season, they hit 191 home runs on the season. And they get Bo Bichette back. Now, he's rusty, hasn't played for a month. Power hitting shortstop, but he's back in the lineup starting on Friday night. Burning question. I look at the Blue Jay rotation and I say, okay, you're going to hit me with the veteran Kevin Gausman. And you found this young AA pitcher who's so far in October really pitched well, Troy Savage. But you got Shane Bieber as your number 3 starter. And you got old folks, Max Scherzer as your number 4. And the bullpen's a little bit overworked. How many times can you go to Varland and Hoffman? But they have a lot. I think the storyline in Toronto, and they're getting no credit at all, they're a much better team at bat, aside from Vlad, than they are anywhere. So I'm just fascinated to see Dodger pitching versus Blue Jay home run hitters. Fascinated to see Ohtani against an all right-handed rotation, and will the rest of the Dodgers start to hit. At one point, my heart said, no, Dodgers are going to win the sucker in 4. Well, now when I broke down all the Blue Jays and the lineup and what they compiled statistically in season and postseason, Toronto has a chance to hang in this one for a while. I don't think Toronto's got enough pitching. But the Jays are going to hit some bombs here. Of course, the Dodgers might hit some bombs too. So who's going to win? Right here. I got the Dodgers winning, and nobody expected Toronto. I was really hoping to be a Dodgers-Seattle series. Mariners feel miserable this week.
Oh.
They call the season an absolute failure. It wasn't a failure. Raleigh, Suarez, Rodriguez, Naylor. I thought their starters had a case of stage fright. I thought the manager, Dan Wilson, might have mishandled the bullpen a little bit. Yanking starters early, not going to his closer when he needed to, especially in that 7th game with George Springer coming to the plate. But at the end of the day, Dodgers, Jays, Seattle's going to sit home and watch it. So that's what I think. What does John Riley in left field think?
Everything's going the Dodgers' way. Blake Snell has reinvented himself.
Yeah.
He's a scientist, and Roki Sasaki is the closer that they desperately needed all year. And Ohtani is a Superman. He can do no wrong. I mean, Kershaw makes the World Series roster, which I think that's good for baseball, but it's just more Dodgers. The Dodgers even have their own heaven, for Christ's sake. So they got everything. They do. And so, yeah, they're going to roll through this just like we expected. I hope the Blue Jays can make this entertaining. I mean, wonderful. It got to a Game 7, but I don't see any way they can be stopped. And by the way, if you look at the Jays roster, the one guy that I always enjoy watching is Kirk, that catcher.
He's from out here.
Yeah, he's from Tijuana, and he's like built like a freaking fire plug, that guy, and he can hit. I mean, he's like the cleanup hitter, and he's hella good.
He hits .222, but he hits bombs.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good. And then it was great seeing Springer having that big hit. I mean, I wanted the Mariners to win, but Springer, man, 7th inning, I mean, that was clutch. And you kind of forgot about Springer. I mean, he was everywhere when he was with the Astros.
And he was hurt the last 2 years, and people started to think age has caught up to him. And all of a sudden, he had a good statistical season this season, and postseason, he's hit some timely bombs.
Yeah, so, by the way, this is what's kind of cool about this World Series is that it's not just 2 American teams, right? I always thought the World Series should be legit World Series, like the World Baseball Classic, sort of. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like that. I mean, I think, there's a lot of other America-Canada rivalry stuff going on outside of the world of sports. So this should be fun. And like you said, like the entire Canadian nation is behind, because there's no more Montreal Expos. So they're all in on the Blue Jays. So this will be fun, but the Dodgers are going to win this thing in 4 or 5 games. I mean, it's just going to be easy pickings.
It's really weird because this morning, about an hour ago, they just released the TV ratings for the American League and the National League Championship Series. And the ALCS had monster television ratings here in the States and all-time record ratings in Canada.
Yeah.
In Canada, everybody stopped. They didn't watch NHL. They had an 8 million viewership for the final game between Toronto and Seattle. In Canada, 8 million.
Good for them. Yeah.
That's a phenomenal amount considering the population base isn't that big.
Yeah, so per capita, that's like, I don't know, half the country or something.
Yeah. And here in the States, it's weird. The numbers for the Dodgers in the NLCS were down like 14% nationwide. I don't know if people are turned off by the, quote, evil empire, or whether everybody expected the Dodgers to walk all over Milwaukee. But here we go. In Japan, all-time record.
Oh, yeah.
Through the roof. Like 7 million per game in Japan to watch Ohtani and Roki.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My friends in Japan are totally hooked on the Dodgers. They don't even pay attention to the Japanese league very much anymore. It's just Dodgers worldwide. I'm sure there's probably, some tribal person somewhere in Central Asia. Man, they're tuning in and they're Dodger fans too.
Okay. Fans Forum chat box is open just with this proviso. He's the one that sent the memo, dress accordingly. So I had to wear it. Feel free. Dodgers, good for baseball that this has happened. Blue Jays have a chance. Anybody from the old Canada Network wants to join us early? Jump on board. We'll talk Dodgers. We'll talk Blue Jays. Love the Fall Classic. It's not what we thought. At one point, I thought Dodgers, Yankees, but that was not going to happen. Okay, we go from that. Next topic on the table. What's happening here in town?
Yeah, the Padres. I mean, I've heard a lot of different names here for the potential new manager.
Yeah, let's just walk through the list. The Padres spent a chunk of Wednesday interviewing Pujols. Albert Pujols' electric career as a player. Phenomenal person. Accomplishments like you would not believe. Unbelievable baseball knowledge. I think phenomenal credibility in any clubhouse that he walks into. But he's never, ever managed. There is a sidebar issue. One of the reports are that the reason Pujols didn't get the Angel job was demand for big money. We're going to touch bases on that angle shortly. The other is Pujols wants to bring his entourage of coaches with him, and that would include ex-Dodger pitcher Ramon Martinez as his pitching coach, which would mean Ruben Niebla would exit. I don't know if that becomes a deterrent on top of the fact Pujols has never, ever managed. I know a lot's been made in the media about Pujols' relationship with Machado. Well, do we need Machado's best friend to be the manager, or do we need somebody who's going to ride herd on Machado and Tatis and whatever's going on in that clubhouse? So those are the angles to the Pujols interview. Mark Loretta, rock-solid baseball man, has learned all the roles in the game. Longtime player, obviously knows the infrastructure of clubhouses. A coach, wanted to learn the front office, contracts, player personnel, which is why he's done so many diverse and different things. Loretta in the mix. Ryan Flaherty, obviously held in high acclaim because the Padres interviewed him last time, did not quite go in that direction. Flaherty learned with the Padres, went to the Cubs, is available, is interviewing other places, but he's interviewed with 3 different teams, has not yet been hired. Nick Hundley, bright light, college guy, withdrew his name before the Giants were going to offer him the contract. Family lives here. The only question about Hundley, the rigors of being a manager every minute of every day of your life. Does he want it that way? We don't know that. We think he's going to be interviewed, but he's not been interviewed yet. Niebla, you keep him on the team, which means continuity with your pitching staff. We know his resume, his track record, what he did Cleveland, what he's done here, how he's held in high regard. You can hire Niebla to be your manager if you put strong, support, veteran bench coaches around him. That is the offset of having a pitching coach becoming your manager, having a first-time guy become your manager, if you got the right veteran guys to be his sounding boards. So, John, I just gave you the resume of these guys. What do you think?
Well, I mean, yeah, you look at Pujols at the top of the list, and that guy, he can do no wrong. I mean, Pujols is the dude. Although I think there's still some question about legitimately how old he is, right? I mean, that was always kind of rumored. But it's interesting you brought up Ramon Martinez, is you kind of forget about him because we always see his brother Pedro, and both were great pitchers. I remember when Ramon was at the LA Dodgers. He was a little bit older, if I recall. Yes. And, boy, he was really good. So you kind of forgot about Ramon Martinez. So that's interesting. You'd hate to lose Niebla, but the new manager should be able to bring in their own guys. I look at these other lists, and we've talked about Loretta, certainly very deserving. Some people online have cautioned about Flaherty. Says, don't do that. That's going to be like another Jace Tingler. That probably isn't going to work. Hundley's an interesting name. He's a catcher, and that checks that box that people seem to want. And everyone likes Niebla. I mean, Niebla, he's going to land on his feet. I mean, you'd hate to lose him, but we need a top-quality manager really more than anything.
Do we need somebody who's going to be Machado and Tatis's best friend?
Well, remember the first couple of years when Machado came here, they brought over some of the base coaches from the Orioles, thinking that was going to make Machado more productive and happier, and it kind of worked. I've heard some people talking about why not Machado as a player manager. I mean, could you imagine that? That'd be wild. But I don't know. Like I said, I think they need a guy that is going to be able to kind of get through all the crap and be able to get connected with Machado and Tatis. And if it's not a Billy Martin type getting in their face, then it could be a Pujols type that gets their immediate respect. But sometimes they need a talking to, and so hopefully they get the right guy.
Okay, there's the list. Fans Forum chat box is open with Padre fans. Feel free. I ran through what I think are the important parameters for the next guy they're going to hire. Next topic, the manager who just got hired in Anaheim.
Yeah, here goes another catcher, Suzuki.
Kurt Suzuki becomes the new manager of the Angels. This was so bizarre. New manager, same problems. Artie Moreno is still the owner. How weird is this? Well, first of all, Suzuki's resume speaks for itself. Smart guy, student of the game, handles pitchers very well. 16 years as a catcher and a communicator. Big leaguer, minor league guy, assistant to the general manager, so he's learned the ropes. The question is, they didn't hire Pujols. And the report is that Artie Moreno did not want to guarantee Pujols a salary for the second year, 2027, if baseball's on strike. You're trying to fix your franchise. You're a rich man. You've burned through all this money, and you're nickel and diming Pujols, and that was your guy? And that's why Pujols stepped away, was no longer there. Second piece of the equation, you let Perry Minasian pick Suzuki. Minasian, whose track record as general manager, has he fixed anything? Last I checked, 4 straight years of really poor baseball, 90 and 99 losses the last 2 years, and you let Minasian hire him? And the next piece of the argument, they gave Suzuki a 1-year contract. I know nowhere in baseball that any new manager coming in the front door gets a 1-year deal. Suzuki took it. Now, granted, there's options for the 2nd year and the 3rd year. 1 year. That makes no sense to me at all. That's a credibility issue. So you tell me, why is Arte Moreno running the franchise the way Arte Moreno is running this franchise? Why would he not guarantee Pujols the 2027 contract, even if they went out on strike? Every other manager's got that in his contract. And it's not like they're going to cancel the whole bloody season. So I just, this thing has been so mishandled in Anaheim. It's just beyond explanation. And the final piece of the conversation, so they hold a press conference yesterday afternoon right in the middle of the terrible testimony in the Tyler Skaggs drug death. They hold a press conference. Arte Moreno does not even show up for the press conference as new manager.
Well, he's probably at the trial.
No, he wasn't. How bizarre is this? So that's all things baseball. Suzuki gets his window. He's willing to work on a 1-year contract, which in modern-day baseball, I don't see that anywhere. So go ahead. The microphone is yours. The podium is yours. Say what you want about the Angels or the way Arte Moreno's run the team.
Well, it seems like Arte Moreno's setting up to fire Perry Minasian because didn't Suzuki only get a 1-year deal so it was synchronized with the end of Minasian's contract? So, Artie's looking for a way to blow them out. Arte Moreno's been burned, for reasons of his own choosing and for unforeseen circumstances like this Skaggs trial. And he's probably thinking, man, everything I do, it doesn't work, And so I can see in a weird way he would be hesitant. You get someone walk in the door like Pujols. I mean, that's the guy you should give it up for. But he's probably gun shy because everything that's gone wrong. I mean, the whole thing is just a disaster.
It's like he's lost touch with the reality of how you should operate the franchise.
Yeah, I agree. The whole thing is just nuts. And then a tragic story there with the Skaggs trial and all the other, tragic deaths. It's just a cursed franchise, and Orange County fan deserves better. They do. I mean, Kurt Suzuki, by the way, I've heard great things about him as a player, as a leader on the teams when he was a catcher. I mean, how long has he been out of the major leagues?
Not for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
He went right into the front office.
Yeah, so he's obviously deserving of the job, and he's probably like, there's only 30 of these jobs available in baseball, and if one's available and it's only for a year, you might be apt to take it. But I hope he doesn't paint himself into a corner and you have the screwed up roster and Trout gets hurt again and the Angels are down at the bottom of the AL West and people start to blame Suzuki.
The whole thing to me is beyond description of how they've run this thing and how they've run this thing into the ground. Angel fans, feel free. Join us. Fans Forum chat box is open. We have just given you a lot of data for you to get involved in. Go ahead, get in line so you can get on with us when we wrap up topics on the table. We're going from all things baseball. Thursday Night Football just around the corner, John.
Yeah, the Bolts and the Vikes are going to fire it up on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, we got the Bolts coming off a terrible loss. Now they get Minnesota. Somebody's going to be in real trouble by 10 o'clock tonight. Somebody's going to have 4 losses. I mean, the Bolts are 4-3 and skidding badly, and Minnesota's just 3-3, and they got a lot of injury problems. The Chargers are really mashed in the offensive front. The Vikings are still having to play their backup quarterback. Here's a Charger defense that's given up 27, 27, and 38 in their last 3 losses. Their run game, which I said was never fit to play, is giving up 5.8 yards per carry. They have no inside defensive tackle play. They've allowed 140 yards rushing in each of the last 3 games to number 19 in run defense. Offensive line has given up 21 sacks of Justin Herbert. Herbert's thrown for 1,900 yards, 13 touchdowns, but 6 picks. He's been sacked 20 times and hit 62 other times in 7 games.
That's a lot.
That's an unbelievable punishment. They've lost 3 of their top 4 running backs with injuries. Alt and Pipkins, limited practice. One or both may try to start tonight's Thursday game at offensive tackle. How long they hold up remains to be seen. And it's weird because the Chargers are 4th in the league in offense, 372 yards per game, but that's because Herbert is playing bombs away. Red zone, though, the Chargers are 31st scoring in the red zone. They get the ball inside the 20, they can't score. They have only 8 touchdowns on the season in the red zone. Do have big plays, no doubt about it. Gadsden, the tight end, Keenan Allen, McConkey. Depending what day of the week it is, Quentin Johnston, some games good, other games disappears. The Chargers they don't have anything around the quarterback, and a quarterback is taking so many hits. One of these times, I fear he's not going to get up from one of these hits. Minnesota, just not what they hoped they would be. Don't have J.J. McCarthy. He's been hurt nonstop. Had him for about 15 minutes, and they got hurt. They're averaging 318 on offense, which isn't great. They're only giving up 301 on defense. Carson Wentz, very erratic. Makes big plays, takes big sacks, gets big hits. He's been sacked 23 times. Turned it over 11 times. Their backup quarterback. Wentz has got an 89 quarterback rating. That being said, I don't know how the Chargers cover Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and T.J. Hawkinson. Those are the 3 receivers on the tight end. Justin Jefferson's averaging 15 yards per catch. Jordan Addison's averaging 15 yards per catch. Hawkinson, the tight end, is averaging 12 yards per catch. They get the ball down the field. When Wentz doesn't throw interceptions, he throws completions. So this is really going to be interesting. But the storyline of this game is not the Chargers and the Vikings. Storyline's your headline is right there. That's a good headline. That's Justin Herbert versus Brian Flores. Flores, defensive coordinator. Minnesota's defensive coordinator. 4th in the country in defense, number 2 in pass defense, number 4 in red zone defense. And when Justin Herbert comes to the line of scrimmage on a 3rd down, he's looking at a Viking defense that allows a conversion rate of only 30%, number 1 in the entire NFL on 3rd down conversions. So, good headline, John, you got there. Justin Herbert versus Brian Flores, because that really is the storyline. So what do you say, Bolts versus Vikes?
Well, that's the same Brian Flores that's been screwed over, right, by the head coaching, He's
suing the league.
Yeah, the Rooney Rule and the whole thing there. So, I don't know. First of all, what you said that Pipkins and Alt, one of them might start. So that's hopeful. I mean, because that offensive line is like a sieve.
Limited practice, both of them.
Okay.
One Alt with a high ankle. Pipkins has got a right knee. They both practiced yesterday, very limited. I don't know how they can hold up and play.
Well, let's just pretend that they both come back and they're healthy and they're back to their normal selves, and they reassemble the offensive line, but no Slater, right? Because he's gone. That offensive line would still be pretty good, wouldn't it? I mean, you still have a couple of first-round draft picks on that line. So, I don't know. I just don't know if they're ever going to get everybody healthy. And by the way, with the running backs, Harris and Hampton, are they coming back, or what's their timeline?
Well, Hampton's got the high ankle. That's usually 6 to 8 weeks. Najee Harris is gone, ruptured Achilles.
Oh, Christ.
And then they lost Hassan Haskins, the power back. He went down with a hamstring. He's out.
Well, there's no wonder they can't score in the 20. You don't have anybody to run the ball.
Yeah.
And the offensive line can't open up any holes. What about J.J. McCarthy? Is he coming back?
High ankle sprain. He's practice limited, but he's not ready.
See, this is interesting because I just know ankle sprain. I used to think as a kid, I sometimes roll your ankle playing basketball. That's a low ankle sprain?
High ankle sprain is weight bearing.
Okay.
Yeah, those are significant injuries. And for the Chargers, virtually all their offensive line injuries have come by friendly fire. Guys get blocked into guys and roll up on guys' legs. That's how Alt got hurt. That's how Pipkins got hurt.
Yeah, it's a cluster down there, man.
Just bad traffic down at your feet.
Yeah, totally.
So anyhow, by the way, game is at SoFi Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So will this be a road game for the Chargers at home? Will there be more purple in the stands than there will be powder blue?
I bet you there could be. I mean, Viking fan travels pretty well.
Yeah.
And by the way, also, Carson Wentz was a mess last week. I mean, he looks good sometimes, and other times he was just baffled.
Where'd this come from? Where'd that pass come from?
Yeah, so, I don't know. The Chargers are going to need a couple of pick sixes in this thing to kind of electrify the team.
No, Carson Wentz has that history, too.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, we got the Chargers, got the Vikings. Feel free, jump on board. You want to talk about tonight's Thursday night football game. Got some other unique games. Let's quickly here before we get to halftime, John, let's talk about the other NFL storylines.
Yeah, let's bring up the NFL schedule.
Dallas Cowboys, Denver. This is really interesting. Denver is just not hitting on all cylinders offensively. There's something not right. Bo Nix has stopped moving the pocket, has stopped running the football, and their offense is not as dangerous as it was last year with Bo Nix. But he does have 14 touchdowns. There's just no explosion. Maybe that's going to change. But Denver's defense is exploding. Denver's defense is allowing only 273 yards per game. Denver's defense has got 34 sacks. Denver's defense on third down conversions, 29%. I mean, that side of that ball, they're bringing it. But here comes Dallas. Dak Prescott is having a spectacular year. Quarterback rating 107, 16 touchdowns, only 3 picks, moving the pocket, making a ton of plays down the field. George Pickens, ex-Steeler bad boy, 17 yards per catch. C.D. Lamb is now back in the lineup, 15 yards per catch. Of course, Dallas's defense is deplorable, still giving up 401 yards per game. I've never seen a stat like this in the NFL. Dallas's defense on third downs, allowing 51% third down conversions. Dallas has allowed 24 touchdowns on the season. So this is going to be interesting. Dallas at Denver against this Bronco defense. You got Green Bay, Pittsburgh. Media is trying to make it revenge tour. Aaron Rodgers says, nah, we're just playing a game. I don't know who to believe. Pittsburgh's offense, though, it's still pedestrian to me. They're averaging under 300 per game, which is not NFL standard. Their defense just is a shell of itself right now. Pittsburgh's defense has given up 374 yards per game. Secondary play is just shabby. I mean, the Bengals just burned them last week. Rodgers does have 14 touchdowns throwing the football. Jordan Love comes in with a 108 rating. His offense, his receivers, 343 yards per game. That's a pretty good offense. So, I don't know. Pittsburgh, Green Bay, you got the old dog Aaron Rodgers hanging on, and you got Love, who just, the arrow just seems to be pointed up. Third game's really going to be hard. You got the Eagles and the Giants. I mean, the Giants had that 19-0 lead in Denver last week and lost it. Catastrophic. Philadelphia finally came together. Really played well. Jalen Hurts has a 108 quarterback rating, not turning it over. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, both averaging 13 yards per catch. Eagle defense is still leaky. Jackson Dart can't do it all by himself. His quarterback rating is now dropped to 89. Cam Scatterboo's averaging, a tough guy, 4.1 yards per carry. Defense still is not playing well, so this might be the beginning of the end of the Giants. We had all the excitement. They won a couple of games early in the Jackson Dart thing. They had the lead in Denver, and it just totally got away from them. And they're into the teeth of a really bad stretch of games. I don't know if the Giants are going to be able to hold up here. Other game, Cleveland, New England. You say, why is that a big game? Well, the Browns aren't very good offensively. Why is it a big game? Browns got a great defense. So you've got Drake May, who's got a quarterback rating now of 116. He's really playing well. 12 touchdowns and only 2 picks for the Patriots' second-year quarterback. And Mike Vrabel's got that defense cranked up. They got 18 sacks this season. Pats have won 4 in a row. Cleveland's got 18 sacks, and they're living off that pass rush that's making everything else more competitive. But Cleveland doesn't have enough offense. But it's going to be interesting. Drake May against Myles Garrett and all those guys wearing the orange helmets coming to get him. So, John, those are the marquee games. Pick what you want.
Yeah, a couple of comments. So first of all, with the Broncos, I want to roll the clock back to last week. The Broncos had that great comeback in the fourth quarter over the Giants. And I saw you mention in the best 15 that Russell Wilson was complaining, saying it was disrespectful what Sean Payton was doing in that fourth quarter. Help me understand that.
It wasn't so much about the fourth quarter comeback. It was something that Payton had said in the post-game interview about the quarterback. And Payton said, well, gee, I had hoped it'd be Russell Wilson would be playing. They wouldn't go to Jackson Dart until later in the season.
Oh.
And Russell Wilson took exception to that, and he got insulted.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it wasn't so much the 33-point comeback. But
okay.
It was just, and Payton said, I never intended that as a slight of Russell Wilson. It was a compliment that Dart pushed his way to the forefront as early as he did in his career, because he said, I thought Dart would go through this learning curve and then be the starting quarterback maybe later in the season. So Wilson just needs to blow off steam.
It was a little bit of a prickly relationship between those two. It was just kind of an odd thing here. Is for some reason in my mind, I've always had you think of NFL teams in groups, usually by division or the big teams that star. But I sometimes think of Dallas and Denver together, not only because they're in the middle of America and they both start with D, but I remember Tony Dorsett played for both of those teams, didn't he? And then didn't Craig Morton play for both of those teams? And so there's been some unusual connections, and so it's kind of neat that they're playing. But go to the Giants-Eagles line. Didn't they already play each other this year? Wasn't that earlier in this?
No, they played twice in a 3-week window. I think they play now and then they play a couple weeks later.
I thought there was a game like a few weeks ago where the Giants finally got over one of their big rivals. And I thought it was Eagle. Okay,
I don't think it was.
So it's not those guys. And then, by the way, Drake May, man, dude is having a hell of a season. I mean, I haven't really sat down and watched him other than the highlights. So, I'm curious to learn more about how he's doing in the NFL.
Yeah, 12 TDs, 2 picks. Doing pretty well in a brand new system, too.
Yeah, Bill Belichick would love to have him.
Yeah, you think? So what do you think about Dallas-Denver? Dak's really doing well with those wide receivers in the running game, and Denver's defense is putting up astronomical numbers.
It's for me, it's entertaining to see the Cowboys never really live up to being America's team. Just all of it, just the drama and everything goes with it. It just seems like that Dak Prescott gets this big contract. He has these great moments during the regular season, and they find a way to choke in the playoffs something.
His playoff record's terrible.
It is. So this will be a fun game. I mean, I was really impressed with the Denver defensive pass rush, in the final minutes of the game when they beat the Jets. I think that was in London, if I remember. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, these guys are really good. And I've always thought Bo Nix, you talked about him as being, he was a systems quarterback. I think he's a lot more than that. And it just seems like him and Peyton is kind of like Mahomes and Reed. They kind of have this twosome that is just really, really effective.
Although Nix is not playing as dynamic as he played last year as a rookie, which really surprises me because I thought he was going to hit the floor running, but has not happened yet. So you got a comment about the games this weekend. Fans Forum chat box is open. We get to halftime. Our Thursday podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers, 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. John, we know about DIXIELINE and lumber. We know about DIXIELINE and all the things they do in terms of home renovation, kitchens, bathrooms, bookcases, doors, and windows. But talk about the guy that's watching us, who's a do-it-yourselfer, who loves to fix. And DIXIELINE's got a whole segment of the store for the do-it-yourselfer.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Why do you always keep bringing up bookcases with DIXIELINE? You're just thinking about wood and lumber and everything. You can build a bookcase, fantastic-looking bookcases, but they're not IKEA. The do-it-yourselfer, man, it's like the local hardware store.
Yeah, roll the video.
Roll the video. Okay, let me pull that up here.
They have an all-star lineup.
They do. I mean, they got all the tools that are available for you there, and all the power tools, and, you just need some help. A lot of do-it-yourselfers like, oh, my God, I got to build a flower bed in the backyard, or, oh, my God, the wife needs me to fix some of the cabinets. They've got all the stuff there. And then they got a lot of people on staff that are like former contractors, have a lot of experience in the field, and they can give you some really good advice, too. So, but yeah, for the do-it-yourselfer, you got a pickup truck, You can have them load up all your stuff in the lumberyard. It's not just for the big boys and the semi-flatbeds. Do-it-yourselfer dude with the family pickup truck can roll in, and they'll load you up with the lumber and the cement and the, if you're going to go buy like a big circular saw and a big box, they'll load it up for you, make it real easy. and give you the advice to get it done right.
Dixieline Lumber. Just go to the website, dixieline.com. Just see all the things that they have to offer. Our podcast brought to you by Dixieline Lumber. Couple of program notes when we are done. Do you think there's a few people standing in line? It's like cars trying to get to the airport parked on the freeway. We got a few people here going to join us at the end, John. For everybody that's new this morning that's joined us, how do they get on Fans Forum?
Oh, well, you can get on board. A lot of people already are on board. If you have a question, just go into the live chat, on YouTube, on X, or on Facebook. It'll show up here on our screen. It's loaded with Dodger lovers right now, Lee, and people are loving what you're wearing. Okay, they're digging that.
Not everybody.
And some of them are kind of prickly about you calling them the evil empire. They got something to say, but there's a lot of Dodger fans that are very confident right now, and so we're going to have a lot of baseball talk in Fans Forum for sure.
Yeah, when we're done, because we do sports talk the way it should be done, topics on the table, then our opinions. But when we're done, we clear the decks, and you pull up the chair next to us. You become the co-host. Fans Forum chat box is open. Jump on board. If you like sports, please read my website, LeeHacksawHamilton.com. I write on it every day. It's absolutely free. It's there first thing every morning, the best 15 minutes in sports, plus my very strongly worded one man's opinion column. If you're a Charger NFL fan, you got to read my column today about the Bolts versus the Purple People Eaters, the Vikings. So check the website every day of the week. Want you to share. Tell everybody what we do Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. Subscribe. When you subscribe, you will get the alerts. Ding, 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 ding. Every time John or I put things up on the YouTube channel, we put additional videos up and commentaries. So make sure you check that out, but you get the alerts every time we do that. Join me on social media. I want to hear what you've got to say. Type in my name on X, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. Hit the follow button. That way you can participate in my mini polls. I ask sports mini poll questions every night on X, on Twitter, on social media. Stop laughing.
I'm just laughing at you talking about like how your one man's opinion column are strongly worded. And I'm thinking that's going to be on your epitaph, on your tombstone. Here lies Hacksaw, strongly worded.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
So anyhow, join us. Lots of ways for you to participate, social media. And again, what really helps us, follow, give us a thumbs up. That's a thumbs up. And give us a 5-star rating, whether you like the way we're dressed or not. 5-star rating really helps us a great deal.
That's good on Apple Podcasts, by the way.
Okay, let's march on. We go to the second half of our Thursday podcast and talk all things NFL. Let's talk college football. Some really cool storylines here.
Yeah, we got that oil can game, Aztecs and Bulldogs.
Big boys schedule. I mean, San Diego State's head coach, a.k.a. cheerleader, a.k.a. what's the word I could use to describe Sean Lewis right now? The word doesn't come to my front of my brain. It'll pop into it. Anyhow, Sean Lewis is just sales pitching everything.
He's like Mentos and Diet Coke, man.
Oh,
that guy's got so much energy.
Yeah, just nonstop. Now they're going to play big boy people. 5-1 is 5-1. They earned it. Now they're playing real people. They got Fresno, then they got Hawaii, and then they got Boise in the next 4 weeks. The thing that has impressed me the most, Jaden Denegal has grown as a quarterback, and I have no doubt that Sean Lewis's playbook is really thick. It's like a phone book. This kid has gotten progressively better. The unique thing, he does not turn the ball over very much. Wide receivers, all of a sudden the light bulb's gone on, and they know what routes to run, the precision needed. The Aztecs in the last couple of weeks have started to get big chunk plays, which they didn't get at the start of the year and really didn't get last season. Defense choking people. Defense is 9th in the country, giving up 259 yards per game. Defense has got 15 sacks. They got 5 takeaways. And, John and I laugh about third down conversions. How about this number? San Diego State's defense on third down holding opponents to 26% conversion.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, if you can hold somebody under 40, that's good. 26. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, it really is. Bulldogs are led by E.J. Warner, Kurt Warner's son. Kid threw a ton of passes at Rice, finishing up his career. Somebody has to explain to me, though, how does Fresno State, with a raw quarterback, new quarterback, win at Hawaii? And Hawaii has got a really good offensive team, but they outgunned them. But then how do they lose at Colorado State, which is really poor, and just fired its coach last week? Says a little Jekyll, little Hyde there at Fresno State. Warner's got 10 touchdowns, but he's thrown 9 picks. The Dogs have 14 turnovers on the season. So you got an Aztec defense that comes in and is going to do this. They may take the ball away. Running backs, though, they pound the rock. They do play hard-nosed football up there, averaging almost 5 yards per carry. And they're pretty good defensively at the line of scrimmage and on third downs. They're giving up only 311 yards per game. Fresno's defense is. So I just think this is going to be a fun football game. The other one is UCLA. The Bruins, 3-game win streak. How the hell are they doing this? Bruins go to Indiana.
Oh, my God.
Number 2, Indiana. Indiana with Signetti and that fierce defense and a quarterbacks that just keep making plays. So the Bruins quarterback, Nico Ayama-Liava, has had himself a really good statistical season, but he's kind of a one-man gang. This is going to be hard. I mean, it's one thing to beat down a bad Maryland team. But it's. I grant you, UCLA beating Penn State was a shocker of all shockers. But UCLA having to go to Indiana, and Signetti has just looked at a volume of film on them. So I don't know if the Bruins are going to be able to hang in there with right now as a number 2 team in the country. That's Indiana football, not basketball. Number 2, IU Hoosiers against UCLA. The word I was looking for to describe Sean Lewis, out of respect, Carnival Barker.
Out of respect.
If I ever get a day where John's been to my man cave, my house. John knows my library. I have a library that goes around, bookcases everywhere.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome. All sports memorabilia.
If I ever come to the day where I'm going to sell my sports library and donate the money to charity, I'm going to ask Sean Lewis, Carnival Barker, to come in to run the auction, because that's what he's doing. He just goes on and on and on and on and on. Okay, you're 5-1, but here comes Fresno, here comes Boise, here comes Hawaii. So what do you think about the Aztecs going to play the Dogs up there, and then what do you think about UCLA at Indiana?
Well, first of all, it's funny for you to call someone else a Carnival Barker. Okay, I'm really excited for the Aztecs, and I missed them last weekend because they had the bye, and I was sort of bumming about that. So they're going to be back. Now, you said the gauntlet is Fresno State, then Hawaii, then Boise.
Yeah, in a 4-week window. There's one other conference game in there.
But is that the order of strength? I mean, is Fresno the easier team of the 3 to beat?
Hawaii is really tough out on the islands.
And we have to go there.
Yeah, and Boise's Boise.
Yeah, so Boise's obviously the toughest of the 3. But, I mean, this is like another Cinderella story, probably better than the UCLA story. I mean, the way that Sean Lewis has finally turned this thing around, and it seemed to, pivot on a dime all of a sudden.
But you haven't played anybody.
But still, they're winning,
I concur.
Hey, a scoreboard, so you gotta appreciate that. And I'm happy for Sean Lewis because he deserves this success, because he's just like a young coach and has all this enthusiasm and all this energy to not just be a leader on the gridiron, but a leader for these young men in life, and he's totally bought into it. I mean, you talk about a lifer coach. I mean, he's already a lifer coach, and the guy he's got to be in his 30s, right?
37, I think.
Yeah. He's not even Mike Gundy age. So, and then, UCLA against IU. I mean, IU is just, it's an incredible year. The IU fan would be just so bummed if UCLA knocked them off. I mean, can you imagine if that happened? It won't happen. Signetti has turned into this guy that I never really heard much about, and suddenly this guy is like he's smarter than everybody else.
He's pretty intense, and he knows how to get – he's really made hay with the transfer portal. So this will be fun. You'd say, nah, they don't have a pair. But who would have thought 2 weeks ago they'd beat Penn State?
And that was mind-blowing. Especially like you said, they not only got rid of Foster, they got rid of the 2 coordinators. Yeah, I mean, so you got all these guys that are coming in. I mean, even like Neuheisel didn't even know how to operate the headset, and they win. I mean, I'm really happy for UCLA, But it's a magical year. Let's see if they keep it going.
Okay. College football fans, Aztec fans, this is cool. And I'll say this, Sean Lewis was talking about the rivalry in the oil can and past games that they won, and I think of Fresno State, and I think of some of the really bad beatings that the Aztecs took here. Trent Dilfer was a starting quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
And he was really good.
Yeah, he was.
David Dunn, the San Diego Lincoln High School coach, who's a great high school coach, went on to the NFL. He played at Fresno State as part of that Dilfer group. And they had so many kids from Fresno in that era that wound up in the NFL. And so they did it with Dilfer came down here. And then David Carr came down here.
Yeah.
And then Derek Carr came down here. And they're just heaving touchdown passes against the Aztecs. So that's what flashes in my mind is payback.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's been a lot of, like you say, these one-off guys that were at Fresno State that suddenly just blew up. I mean, even Aaron Judge would be one of those guys, was a Fresno State dude. But yeah, this is fun. I like how the Aztec players are being interviewed about the game, and they just refer to them as like the team up north. They won't even say their name. It's cool. They have this rivalry thing, and granted, they're not next door to us. But it's cool they have this rivalry.
Well, they're trying to build something. Although I emotionally, even though the Carnival Barker spent a chunk of his press conference talking about the oil can trophy, to me, and if I'm wrong, somebody jump on Fans Forum and tell me, to me, the real Aztec rivalry, all things BYU.
Yeah, that's the historical rivalry for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping things will change. We get a little bit more of a natural rivalry here. I think that'd be a lot better. But it's cool they have that oil can thing. I think that was because the bus needed the oil to get over the grapevine or something like that. It's a kind of an interesting historical piece. I like that.
It really is. And if you go to the football offices, I'm there every Monday for the press conferences. You walk by the offices, they have all these different trophies. And they have the oil can there. It's really kind of cool. In addition to the Mountain West Conference Championship trophy they got with Rocky Long and the stuff with Brady Hoke and bowl game memorabilia. But the oil cans, it's kind of cool.
Hey, man, we're in San Diego. We'll take any trophy we can get.
We don't get many of them. Only word I can say, payback.
Yeah.
Let's see if the Aztecs can do this at Fresno State. And by the way, that's a nationwide telecast. That's on FS1 at 12:30 on Saturday. The whole country is going to get a chance to see it.
Right on. Okay, well, hopefully we don't stink up the joint.
Oh, geez, don't be throwing water on it. Okay, college football, feel free. Jump on board. John, next topic on the table. You won't believe what happened in the early morning hours today.
Oh, I know, and I want to hear all about this NBA gambling scandal from you because I have some big questions.
This is monstrous. This story broke about 5:30 West Coast time this morning. The FBI holds its major press conference. Overnight, Chauncey Billups, the head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, was arrested after the Blazers game last night against Minnesota. And Terry Rozier, Miami Heat guard, was arrested at Team Hotel in Orlando after the Miami-Orlando Magic game. They are amongst 32 people arrested and indicted in the early morning hours today by the FBI for taking part in rigged poker games in New York and Las Vegas, working with, quote, the underworld, a.k.a. the mafia, 4 different New York mafia families, to rig electronically card games, poker games, steal money from rich people who are invited to come to the table to play poker with ex-athletes. Billups is the first big ex-athlete that's been snared in this. The players were arrested on a separate set of cases involving insider information about players who were injured, players that were opting out of games, in essence, players who are going to throw games by pulling themselves out of the lineup. And we've talked in the past how these different casinos have tracked all of a sudden a flurry of bets that show up for the first 4 minutes of a game, betting on a certain player who takes himself out of the game. Rozier is part of that. In addition, Damon Jones, Laker assistant, longtime Cleveland Cavalier, he's been arrested for providing inside information to a wide variety of bettors about Laker players who were sick and not injured or were injured and were not going to play in a specific game in which there were a mountain of bets placed right at the start of those games. This gambling thing is, John, it's the tip of the iceberg. I swear to you, this all comes as an offshoot of what happened in Toronto with the young player, Jonte Porter, and now it's progressed to Miami. Now it involves a coach. Holy cow. And Billups just got named to the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame, got enshrined a couple weeks ago. Just a shocker. Why somebody this rich with that success would be involved. FBI report said that Billups was part of a scam in Las Vegas in which a rich man rolled in to play poker. And the way I read this was they'd have a 4-man group at a poker table, and this rich man would come in, and he wanted to play because Chauncey Billups was here. He was going to play poker with Chauncey Billups and these other guys. The other guys were in this ring with Chauncey Billups. Electronically, they got information, what cards were being dealt. Billups, in one night, $1.8 million from one rich man who came to sit at the table with him. And this has happened in New York. It happened in Vegas. How could Billups ever do this? It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, I mean, I was very curious about this Billups situation because, first of all, it's the mob, which you don't want to be hanging out with those guys. But I was curious to know if he was just the innocent celebrity bystander that was used as bait to lure these guys in.
Does not look like it. It looks like he was part of the 3 illegals setting up the rich guy.
If he's participating in the fraud, he's pushing electronic buttons or looking at his cards so the camera can see the cards or whatever the scam was, then dude needs to go down, okay? I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, I've always thought highly of Chauncey Billups, both as a player and as a coach. And so this is tragic. The player, with the Heat was a Rozier, that we're just seeing those kinds of storylines. Like, it seems like every month there's 2 or 3 more people. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. I mean, there's going to be sports betting. So these leagues have got to get out ahead of it. And these relationships with the sports books that the league is notified when there's some really unusual bets that are being placed, they've got to do more of that kind of thing and do other things to manage the situation, more strongly. And then I don't know if it's not just the discipline on the player, but I think it's the I guess you almost need like a whole team, like a squad of people from the NBA to interact with casinos to create a wall of some kind. I mean, I'm speaking hypothetically.
I think the wall is being built. I think the security is there, and these guys are the first group that got trapped.
Yeah, okay, good. And so the more you get trapped, at some point, those bad guys are going to go somewhere else.
Yeah. But trust me, if it was in Orlando and it was in Miami and it was in Toronto, and now it's happened in Portland, which has snared the coach. Tip of the iceberg. I bet it's other places.
Well, it's San Jose State and Fresno State. We see it in college and everywhere else. Yeah, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. I'll say this, as horrible as these cases are about gambling and, the mob and everything else, the upside of gambling in sports is way bigger than this dark cloud. Even if that dark cloud is 10 times bigger, the upside is better than the downside. But the downside is growing fast, and so they got to get their handle on it and try to minimize and control it.
Pay attention. This story is going to grow because I think the tentacles are out there. Feel free to jump on board. You worried about integrity of the game? Because I think the NBA is really scared now. We go from that. First week of the NBA season, got storylines a whole bunch of different places. We're going to jump through a lot of hoops here, talk some basketball.
Yeah, teams to beat. You think OKC is going to repeat?
Yeah, I think these are the 2 teams that are going to go to the NBA Finals if they don't have catastrophic injuries. I mean, Oklahoma City, in all honesty, John, is playing in a different solar system. They just have so many great athletes, obviously led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And you got Chet Holmgren, who looks so different as a third-year player. Second year made a big jump. He looks even better now as a third-year player. You got Jalen Williams, a sharpshooter, and you got a really great bench. OKC's really good. Cleveland had a phenomenal season. I think they won 63, maybe 66, and then they all got hurt right in the playoffs. They lost everybody, and Cleveland did not get to the NBA Finals. But they got Mobley back, and they got Garland back, and they got DeAndre Hunter, and they got Mitchell, Jared Allen, and they signed Lonzo Ball. Ball has fought through 2 years of adversity with cartilage replacement surgery. He had a really good preseason. He's never played like this in Chicago post-surgery, but he now 2 years removed, he looks really different. So those are my top 2 teams. We're going to talk about everybody else in the league, but OKC, I watched them on TV against Houston.
Yeah, that was last night.
Yeah, it looked like they're in a different galaxy.
Yeah, it was interesting because I tuned in because I was going to try to watch. Was the Lakers and Warriors were on,
Yes.
right? And so that game kind of went long and went into double OT. And it was, it came right down to the wire there. But Durant lost, And I don't know, everyone seems to kind of want to be hating on Kevin Durant. But those OKC guys, I like that TV commercial that they're in. I think it's like Aflac or something, where the three guys are having a good time there. It's all good. They're a really talented team. Cleveland, to me, is... My view of the Cleveland Cavaliers is similar to that color scheme of the logo. It's just sort of dark and kind of in the shadow, not really bright and sexy, So I remember last year, Donovan Mitchell, they were really good, and they kind of got booted early in the playoffs. So
Injuries.
Yeah, so I want to see how they're going to do. Because other than that one time frame with LeBron, and then you'd have to go all the way back to like Craig Elo until the Cavaliers.
Bill Fitzgerald.
Yeah. So were you there in Cleveland during that time?
Pretty electric.
That was like in the 80s, right?
80s, yes.
Because I remember, the Cavs were competitive, like in the playoffs with
Austin
Boston.
Carr, Jim Jones, Dick Snyder. I mean, it's kind of a really unique and different team. Bubba Smith. I mean, they were really firepower team, but they couldn't get it done.
They couldn't get it done. I think that's a good call for, the top two teams. We'll see how the season goes. I mean, some of these other teams that were so dominant, they're toast, right? Like the Celtics, and we're going to probably get to some of those teams next.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Let's go to the other storylines around pro basketball. Teams to watch. Let's start with San Antonio. Let's start with Dallas. Wembanyama has grown. I thought he was really good. And Wembanyama scored 40 points and had 15 rebounds last night in 30 minutes. Just totally dominant. But look at San Antonio's roster. Now, granted, there is no Greg Popovich. But they got Wemby. They got De'Aaron Fox, who's about to get healthy. They got Stephon Castle. They just added another lottery pick, Dylan Harper, who played pretty well his first game as a pro. They got Harrison Barnes. That's a really good San Antonio team. The Mavericks got Cooper Flagg. Now, they don't have the whole roster intact right now, but they got Flagg. They got Anthony Davis, who's coming off eye surgery. Kyrie Irving will be back probably within a month. And they got the old dogs. They got Klay Thompson, and they got Gafford and Lively. Now, Flagg made his debut last night. First play of the game. Hit him with a pass, went right down the lane on a slam dunk, and missed it.
Yeah, I think AD alley-ooped him.
Yeah, he totally missed it.
Well, yeah,
but
nerves.
He came back. He played pretty well. It was only 4 for 13 from the floor, but Cooper Flagg is a stud. So you got San Antonio, Dallas, Bears watching. Houston. Now, they got Durant. Can all these guys play together? I think that's the big question for Ime Udoka, the head coach. But they got Amen Thompson, who's really good. They got Sega in the South America. They got Jabari Smith. Now, they don't have Van Vliet. He's gone for the year with his injury, but they do have Durant. So I'll be intrigued to see if Houston can play collectively as a team rather than individually around their stars. As for Denver, we're going to find out life after Michael Porter. He's gone in a trade. I mean, they do have Joker, but they've added to the bench. They've added Cam Johnson. They do have Jamal Murray to go with the Joker. And they got a big man who will give him valuable minutes so that Jokovic doesn't have to play 45 minutes a night. Valanciunas is a big guy who's competitive. So I think Denver's going to be fun to watch, but obviously there is no Michael Porter there anymore. Atlanta's been building. And, boy, they got Trae Young, and then they went out this summer, and they got Kristaps Porzingis, an outside shooter. They got Nickel Walker. They got one of the best guards that nobody pays any attention to around the nation, Dyson Daniels. And they got the French kid, Rasace, who averaged about 8.7 rebounds a game last season. First year coming out of France as a teenager. He's going to be better. I think Atlanta's pretty good. Detroit, 2 years ago, how miserable experience was that? Didn't they lose 24 in a row or something? It was just terrible. Detroit's been building and building and building. Is this the true breakthrough year? Cade Cunningham, Duran, Ivy, they've just built out draft pick after draft pick after draft pick. Is this the year that they're going to arrive? Indiana Pacers, 1 year, one and done. No Ty Halliburton this season, ruptured Achilles. Miles Turner jumped. He went to Milwaukee as a free agent, so I don't think Indiana is the same team any longer. And Boston, without Jason Tatum, and they had to pair the roster because of the salary cap and luxury tax. It's like Jaylen Brown against the world. I just don't think Boston's ever going to be Boston again as long as Tatum is out. And then we get to what's here in Southern California. Lakers, no LeBron for 8 weeks. Luka's Luka. He had 43 points first game in 41 minutes. He did everything. Austin Reeves, he's on a contract drive year. He's going to do well. I was really disappointed. Ayton did not show very much offensively, nor as a rim protector. Only one game, but this kind of looks like DeAndre Ayton we saw up in Portland when he played himself there. Clippers, I would have never imagined this was possible. They opened last night. That was horrible. They were down by 24 in the first quarter. They were down by 34 in the third quarter. They let Utah shoot 66% from the floor. You know, I raised a big thing about they've got all these veteran experienced players. Age 33, they are the oldest team in modern-day NBA basketball. Average age is 33 plus. So I'll have to see if this fits, but I would have never, ever imagined the Clippers would play so pitiful in Utah against a substandard Utah Jazz team. They look disinterested. Kawhi played. Kawhi's been healthy. It's the first offseason. Kawhi's been totally healthy. But, boy, it came out of the gate and it looked just hard. So, John, that's my opinion. I do hit three-point shots. Don't you dare shoot an air ball. Give me yours.
Oh, to be 33 again.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be good? You know, Wembanyama was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this dude. I mean, he's like putting on the shake and bake. He's moving. You know, he's got the step back three, and he got fouled. He went in for the 4-point play. And the defense, he was like snuffing. I mean, not just tipping balls away, but just freaking snuffing people. And I'm thinking, could he be like even close to comparing to Shohei Ohtani? Like, imagine if Wembanyama had a night like last night where he scored 40 points, did it in the NBA Finals. I still don't know if he'd be as amazing as what happened with the Dodgers.
He might be if he did it in postseason, a championship round. I think the only conclusion you have, though, on San Antonio, they're really young across the board. I mean, outside of De'Aaron Fox, who's recovering from surgery, virtually every one of their other core guys is pretty young, and there's no Popovich to drive them now because he's retired because of health issues. So that bears watching. Will they grow collectively together, and will they, from an intensity standpoint, get better and better? But Wemby is really something for a second-year player. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he's incredible. And usually you get dudes that look like that, and they move around like, what was that guy, Sean Bradley, or you know, or Manute Bol, you know, this sort of awkward giraffe. But that guy freaking moves like Michael Jordan. I mean, I'm obviously, you know, exaggerating, but not by much. I mean, that guy is insane how good he is. So, you know, good on San Antonio. I mean, we did get De'Aaron Fox back. Yeah, I mean, that Harper kid did pretty good, too.
Yeah, and Castle's a really good player.
Castle's the one with the hair, right, that kind of looks like a tree on his head. That guy's a good player. Yeah, and he's fast. I mean, I was really watching him in the game, just the way he moved, you know, with the ball in the lane, just could move like in different dimensions that were unorthodox, it seemed. So, yeah, that's a really good team. And Dallas they didn't look very good.
No.
And Cooper Flagg's going to be all right, but yeah, they just it just doesn't feel right there.
Western Conference war zone. I mean, you think about all the really good teams in the Western Conference.
Well, it's always been like that, hasn't it? I mean, you go
more
back
so now.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, the NBA is we cover all the baseball and football. Now you're throwing NBA in the mix. Our heads are going to explode.
Okay, you got a basketball comment? Feel free. Fans Forum chat box is open. Last set of topics on the table. We're just going to buzz through this real quick. Hot headlines. And yeah, here we go. The high-speed sports wire. Yeah, let's just talk about storylines. We talked about a month ago. NASCAR is bringing a road race to North Island, to Coronado. They just announced the San Diego Grand Prix course, 3.6 miles on North Island. It's going to have 16 turns in it, including 6 turns of 90 degrees. And on the straightaways, these cars are going to fly, and then they're going to get to the end of the straightaway. You better downshift quick because you're going to be doing this. So that's going to be fun. That comes up next June.
Interesting.
San Diego Grand Prix, NASCAR. Big weekend south of the border. Formula One is here. Mexico City Grand Prix. And the big storyline is what Max Verstappen is doing as they get ready to run this road course, the historical road course in Mexico City. Verstappen, who was getting buried the first half of the season, has now cut the points lead down to 40 points, chasing Oscar Piastri and his McLaren teammate Lando Norris. And Norris and Piastri have spent more time knocking each other out of races, while Verstappen keeps getting on the podium every Sunday. Formula One also has done something really different. I understand the rationale because it's all about the bank. Formula One just announced a TV contract. They're leaving ESPN next year. They're going to Apple TV. Everything, all F1 will be subscription.
Like the MLS.
Yeah. So I'm kind of surprised because Formula One, ESPN did a great job for 5 years. And the arrival of Formula One here, I think, goes hand in hand, not only with the greatness of the drivers and the events and the personalities, but just the packaging and TV, because everybody gets access on ESPN. Now it's going to Apple, or you're not going to disappear off the radar. So keep an eye on that one. Speaking of racing, we've talked extensively about Cadillac One. They're going to Formula One next season. Cadillac One signed Colton Herta, young IndyCar driver, to be their test driver. He will back up Val Bottas and Sergio Perez. He'll get a lot of experience as Cadillac's test driver. Holton has now signed an additional contract. He's going to run for an F2 Formula 2 Series team because he's going to try to get experience, pile up points to get his super license so he can move into Formula One. You can't just walk on the street and say, I'm Colton Herta. You have to be qualified. So Colton Herta is going to not only work for Cadillac, but he's going to run F2. PGA Tour. This is a bit of a shocker. They have canceled the first tournament on the 2026 schedule. This is a byproduct of the drought. This is a byproduct of problems on Maui. The Sentry Invitational at Kapalua has been canceled. It's been taken off the schedule. They have a terrible water problem in Maui. Both courses, including the Plantation course, have been badly damaged. PGA Tour had looked about taking the opening event, the Sentry, and moving it back stateside, but they decided not to do it. So they're going to be one tournament short on the schedule. Schedule will open next season at the Sony Open in Hawaii. So that's a bit of a blow for Maui because that is their signature sports event. But because of the terrible fires and then terrible drought problems, that's come off the schedule, at least for 2026.
Wow.
So, John, we have any Formula One fans? I mean, we do talk a lot about auto racing here, some NASCAR, some Indy 500 stuff, a lot of F1. Have we ever gotten hardly any F1 guys in the Fans Forum chat box?
You know, when we do those commentaries, those like vertical videos that last about a minute, we have, some of those we produce and others AI creates for us. And I remember we had one that was an F1 done by AI, and it was like an excerpt from one of our regular podcast shows, and that thing freaking blew up on YouTube and on Instagram. So those things can hit just right on the internet. But we get other fans that are following, auto racing. But it's not like the Dodger Padres smack talking going on this right now. Hey, I have a question though, on the San Diego race. I remember a long time ago, probably like 15 or 20 years ago, I was on North Island and I got in a pass to get in there. And I remember walking or driving across like this really big, like concrete tarmac or something like that out there, and it wasn't a street. It was like this giant wide open space. Now, does F1 have to run on asphalt, or could they be on a concrete track? I mean, do you know anything about that?
Well, the San Diego race is NASCAR. It's not Formula One.
Oh, excuse me. Pardon me.
Yeah, no, NASCAR, it'll be on whatever the pavement is.
But they can go on concrete or whatever? Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, there you go. That'll probably, most of the course will be on that.
Yeah, I tried to imagine the layout, and I couldn't picture it in my mind. All I know is one long straightaway and a lot of 90-degree turns, and then this and that. I mean, it's a road course is in essence what it is.
Yeah, and then the other comment I'll make is this F1 going to Apple TV. Is that a done deal? Or
yes, it's a done deal.
You know, that's not necessarily a bad thing because I have the subscription and I like to watch MLS on Apple TV, and they do a really good job producing content on that platform because when you go into the MLS section, you got all the different games, you got all the pre-game, post-game. They have a lot of special features. So as a guy with a clicker, you can pick from a wide variety of things. Where the ESPN, they got like, I don't know, 4 or 5 cable channels. And there are things that are kind of always happening, but you don't know what time they're going to happen. I don't know. I felt like the Apple TV solution made a lot of sense for me. And then that's a win-win because I think, they're going to get some revenue from that for sure. They're going to get a share of the subscription. And then it brings more people in the door to subscribe to Apple's content.
So you're inviting everybody on this podcast to come to your house to watch F1 next season on Apple?
Well, that's going to probably violate one of those FCC rules that we see Don Orsillo with the piece of paper like slipping in there. No.
Okay. Hey, listen, we have put topics on the table. Now it's your turn to join us. This is podcast brought to you by Dixieline Lumber and Home Centers. 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. Got projects, they've got materials. Got projects, they can give you ideas. Go to Dixieline.com to see all the things that they have to offer. We are just around the corner. We've dressed accordingly. Game 1 World Series coming up. Huge weekend. Thursday night football, Chargers, Minnesota. Must win for both of them. Big game. Aztecs football, Fresno State. We're going a lot of different directions. John, the microphone is yours. These are your people. Here comes Fans Forum. Go ahead. Where do you want to go?
Like I said, there's a lot of people. We're going to get to everybody. But a lot of people that love what you're wearing right now. They're digging it. Okay. Again, if you give us a couple of bucks, you go to the top of the line in the YouTube Super Chat. And there's been a few people that have made a similar comment. And this is from our friend David. Thank you, David. Calling the Dodgers the evil empire is lazy shorthand that ignores the nuance of their organization, unlike the Yankees, who earned that label through decades of dominance and free agent splurring.
Well, the Dodgers have really kind of built a dynasty here. Some people say, well, Lee, they've only won a World Series more recently. Dynasty would be if you did it 3 times in 5 years. But the Dodgers' dominance has just been phenomenal. So how about we just call it the Blue Empire rather than the Evil Empire? Because they haven't done anything illegally. They've just outspent everybody else because the market they're in and the wealth of their ownership, et cetera. They don't make a hell of a lot of mistakes on their player personnel. So should we just call it the Blue Empire?
No. Evil Empire definitely is the Steinbrenner Yankee era.
Yes.
Okay, I'll give them that. And you kind of busted out that phrase because obviously they're the big money-spending team. But I never really pushed back on it, because when I was a little kid, my mom told me, we don't like the Dodgers. This is a San Francisco Giants fan household. And then I come to San Diego, and my allegiance now is more with the Padres. So it's fun to hate the Dodgers, I guess you could say. But it's free agent splurging. I mean, come on. I mean, you signed Shohei Ohtani for like almost $1 billion, and you're telling me the Dodgers didn't do any free agent splurging? Mookie and Freddie, they both came over. Well, Freddie was a free agent, right?
From Atlanta.
Yeah. And then Mookie was traded from Boston, but there was a contract package as part of that, right? And that was huge money. And then they went out and splurged on Blake Snell, and they got Glass now and splurged on him. So the evil empire fits. I just wish we need to have a better name because that really does belong to the Yankees. I like my idea. It's Marcia Brady. Because everything goes their way, I know, but that's kind of a funny thing for me. But we need a legit good nickname. Blue Empire?
Dodger dollars.
That's not bad either.
Okay, David, thanks for being with us. Next one.
Okay, and David threw a couple of other more dollars on the table, so we'll get him another one in for him. Thank you, David. The Dodgers have built a powerhouse through smart drafting, player development, and analytics. If anything, they're a model of modern baseball efficiency, not a cartoon villain.
No, I concur with you. I mean, their baseball smarts and their analytics department, that's really special. I mean, how they use their people, especially the most important time of the year. We're not talking about the third week of June in a series in Pittsburgh. We're talking about the playoffs, what they did to the Padres, what they've done in these playoff series leading up. And it was really interesting. I mean, there is personality there. There is ego there. Holy cow, what Andrew Friedman said in his press conference over the weekend, that win the trading deadline? Who cares? The Dodgers win in October. Ouch. Yeah, that was a direct shot at Padre baseball and Padre fans.
Oh, totally it was.
But no, they're a powerhouse because I think they're a great organization. They have standards. There's something really special about Dodger baseball, Tommy Lasorda's theatrics aside.
You know, I went through a similar metamorphosis with the New England Patriots and when they had Tom Brady. You know, and they suddenly arrive on the scene and they're really good, and you're like, wow, these guys are pretty good, you know, and then they kind of play better than you expect, and then you get to the point of starting to hate them, you know, because they win too much, you know. And I remember the Patriots were like that. There were a lot of 49er haters in the 80s because they won too much. But then at some point, you just got to give it up and say, you know, they're just really good.
Great organization.
Yeah, they're a really good organization. And so everything is just right in Dodger blue heaven.
Concur. We move on. David, thanks again.
Okay, here's a couple of examples of some of the smack talking here. This is from Carlos. Love the Dodgers hoodie. F the Padres.
No.
And then Javier says, love that sweater, Hacksaw, go blue. So people are digging what you're saying here.
Yeah, but the flip side of that dollar bill is there have been people over the months and months and months on this podcast that went haywire against me after I made the comments about all the catastrophic injuries to the Dodger pitching staff, and I wrote this pointed column, yeah. The Dodger way no longer. People went crazy. So you have to tell me whether I am bleeping brilliant or I'm just a bad character, because sometimes Dodger fans turn on me just like Padre fans turn on me.
Well, but they'll say, oh, you're such a hater. You're a Dodger hater. And other people say, no, you're a Dodger lover, you know. And so they all want you on their team, or they want you on the other team, you know. So in the end, you're a journalist, but you're also a sports fan. Yeah. So good on you for wearing the Dodger gear. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I just saw when you rolled in today wearing that, I was like, oh, here we go. This
was a Christmas gift for my kid.
Okay. Right?
Because I'm a baseball historian. I love logos and history of old stuff.
100%.
Yeah. And this was the Brooklyn Dodger logo when I was a kid growing up. My dad took me to Ebbets Field. First game I ever saw. So I've always liked that logo.
So let me ask you this, okay? So that logo is interesting to me because you don't see it as often as the Block LA.
Right.
Now, that baseball is up above the script, and it's got those red lines coming behind the baseball.
Home run being hit out of Ebbets Field.
That was the question. Is it a home run being hit out, or is it the baseball like the sun shining the bright light down on the Dodger logo?
Oh, I never thought about that. You're becoming a Dodger fan? Boy, wait till people get through on Fans Forum. John turncoats us.
It's just the Dodgers. It's just Marcia Brady, man. I'm telling you. Okay, let's keep going. And here's a good one from JJM. Hacksaw, glad to see you're doing well. Remember the beginnings of 690 and you calling Aztec football?
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. That was during the Marshall Falk era. I did their games like 3 different times. They kept coming on our station and leaving for some reason and coming back. But I was there during the highlight era of the Marshall Falk era, and that was really, really special. But geez, that was a long time ago. So I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm excited for 12:30 on Saturday. I just want to see how the Aztecs hold up against Fresno. And again, they start playing real people in this next month. And, you know, if they win against Fresno, would it be too much of me to ask Aztecs for life to put your ass in a seat at Snapdragon and fill the damn stadium and make San Diego State's home field advantage as wild as, say, Boise's home field advantage? Is that too much to ask of you if they can beat Fresno?
See, now you're doing the carnival barking again to bring the fans in. I saw some people on Twitter talking about they're making the road trip up to Fresno, you know, to go support the team. And I guess it's a blackout night. So that, you know, they're saying, you know, wear red, you know, just to kind of poke them in the nose. But it'll be a good game. This is a great rivalry. You know, it's kind of a subtle thing. Both Cal State schools and part of the same state. So, yeah, right on. I mean, I'm really happy for Sean Lewis, and I'm really happy to they're passed that by. I can, you know, it's the one team that I feel most closely connected with.
Well, Boise has become that rival here that plant the flag. That Rocky Long and Brady Hoke went and took the flag back. That, you know, we are the team in the Mountain West. But to me, the one I want to get BYU back on the schedule. I'd love to see BYU season-ending game every year because that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, there's that relationship going back. I mean, remember there was that one play where they weren't sure if it was a fumble, and then they went up to the booth to have it reviewed, and the guy doing the review was like a BYU alum, and they called the fumble the wrong way and just screwed the Aztecs. There's been a lot of those kinds of things, and plus those crazy tie score 52-52.
Well, the 51-51 game.
Okay, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, I broadcast that. That was the first Thursday night game ESPN ever did. Think about that.
Really?
I think it was the Ty Detmer era.
Yeah.
Against David Lowery and Falk. And I mean, it was just such a great
That was like
game.
early 90s, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, we move on.
Okay, and Javier says, yeah, I've been listening to Hacksaw since 1994.
Yeah, we've been doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, and then Alm says, hey, Lee, you look good in Dodger blue. Just saying. Not San Diego ugly colors.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they're all over the place here. And let's go to John. He goes, hey, I like Kurt Suzuki as well. He was Strasburg's preferred catcher when the Nationals won the World Series.
Well, he's got good credentials, and he's an intellect, and he's been there. But the look you get when you find out that he signed only a one-year contract, who does baseball business that way? I mean, Artie Moreno's organization just seems to be so dysfunctional right now. So you got the manager, the Perry Manassian wanted. That's good. You better go get some bloody players. Otherwise, you're looking at another 90-loss season. They have virtually no pitching, and they're wafer thin in terms of young, established guys. So Suzuki can only coach X and O so much. He needs talent to make that X and O work.
Well, remember at the beginning of the year, they kind of got a bunch of different free agents, and they were like average to better than average players.
Well, they got the Solaires and the Kyle Hendricks of the world, and virtually all of them didn't pan out because of injury.
Yeah, so most of them, I bet you, are probably free agents, maybe just on one-year deals or something. So where are you building the roster from? It's like they're going to have to almost go from scratch. And by the way, how many years are left on Rendon's contract?
1.
Oh, thank God. Okay, is he going to be healthy? Is he ever going to play again?
They didn't even want to answer that question. They don't know.
That's another disaster in Angels history.
Bad luck.
So much bad luck. Yeah, they're
we
cursed.
Move on.
Okay, we move on, and let's go to Casey. Hacksaw, who are your biggest surprises so far this year in the NFL?
Wow. I would say Indianapolis. I mean, to be 6-1, nobody expected that. I have to say that more than anybody. I'm really stunned that Jacksonville seems to be going in the wrong direction after a good start. I always thought that coach Vrabel would do a good job in New England, and he has. So I'd just say off the top of my head, just lickety split those. Houston's been a huge disappointment because they had such a good season last year, and C.J. Stroud threw for 4,000 yards his first season. They just seem to be going in the wrong direction, but they've had a lot of injuries in the offensive front. Tampa is living beyond itself. Baker Mayfield, now he's got problems because virtually all of his skill guys are hurt. And this is all going to catch up to Baker Mayfield. But that first third of the season in Tampa, very, very impressive. Green Bay is growing. That's a really good football team. So just off the top of my head, there we go.
Yeah, my answer is David Jones and Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Just those two guys. And of course, they're teams. But both of those guys I had written off as dead. And they're really doing a great job.
And San Francisco's doing it with everybody on the injured reserve list. They've had so many injuries right from the start of camp.
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of on fumes, but they're finding a way to win. That's good coaching, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan's fingerprints are on everything.
On everything. Okay, let's keep on going.
Thanks, Case.
Okay, let's go here to David. This is David in Green. I think it's the same David. He goes, hey, Dodgers use 73% of their revenue on salaries and taxes. Lots of teams invest less than 50%. Marlins, 27% of $87 million, even with revenue sharing.
See, that's the problem in baseball. The Canadian press, because I got friends up there, they spent the week talking about the massive disparity. Dodger $383 million payroll. I think the Blue Jay payroll is $229. Massive disparity. The disparity is because there's no floor to spending. There has to be a floor to spending. Luxury tax kind of acts as a cap. If the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Mets want to vault that threshold, and the Dodgers are paying I think it's now up to $181 million in luxury tax. That money goes into revenue share. Everybody gets a cut of the TV deal, gets revenue share money also. But you got to spend. If the Florida spending was $140 million. Everybody had to spend at least $140. You'd have better product in Tampa and Miami and Kansas City and all these other places that don't have good product because there'd be more money to use. Got to be a Florida spending. Union has to agree to that. The owners have to agree without trying to impose a cap. That's where we are.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we talked a little bit about this in our last episode. But, you know, obviously, if you got way more revenue, then you can obviously allocate a much bigger percentage of that to your players because the fixed costs are, generally speaking, the same from team to team. So, you know, I look at the Dodgers and I'm thinking, like I say, everything goes their way because they're paying all these taxes and then they have to give up draft picks, right? I mean, if they keep going over the line, and then they still rebuild their farm system and they got all these great pieces of talent coming up. I mean, I don't know, Dodgers are probably thinking to themselves, yeah, we're spending a lot of money, but we're doing it for the greater good, you know, because all those tax dollars are being spread out to all these other teams. They maybe think that they're like, you know, rescuing the world from baseball.
And they're drawing 4 million fans per game, which is all-time record.
Yeah. I mean, is there any negative story with the, now other than Mitsuhara with the Dodgers?
No. And historically, they get good players. They acquire good players. I don't know that we've had a lot of bums wearing Dodger uniforms recently.
No. I mean, yeah, even guys of bad character. I mean, they had Puig for a while, you know.
Well, that was just immaturity. And obviously the Urias, the pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
With the domestic abuse situation.
Jay Howell was a cheater, wasn't he? Didn't he have like the pine tar in his glove or something like that?
Yeah, but, you know, there were some guys that did drugs when drugs were not being tested for.
Yeah, more widespread back then. But these days with Mookie and Freddie and Shohei, it's like
a standard of people on that roster.
They're like comic book heroes,
yeah.
You know, or like, you know, like a manga or something, you know, or anime, you know, because they got these bright smiles and they're friendly and they're really good.
I concur. We move on.
Okay, we move on. And there's a two-parter from John. He says, first of all, Giants put up 32 on the Broncos D is slightly above average. Playing great against the high school New York Jets doesn't count. And he goes on to say, Giants played the Eagles 2 weeks ago.
Oh, they did? Okay.
And that's what I was thinking.
Okay. I remembered in the schedule, they had a stretch of about 6 games that were, holy cow, how are they going to survive this? And I knew there was Eagles, another team, and then Eagles again. So this is the back end of that 3 window. But I think this catches up to Dart. They just don't have enough offense. You know, they don't have Malik Neighbors, and they don't have one of their top running backs. So it's for them to hang in there as well as they've hung in there, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're overall. I think the Giants are a bit of a surprise as well, you know, in the NFL. But the Eagles are going to be wanting some payback here, you know.
And the Eagles, I mean, they came together last week. I mean, they sledgehammered their way to victory. That looked like the Super Bowl champions because they had not played that way. They're still not running the ball. Saquon Barkley is averaging 3.3 yards per carry. That's not him.
No, it's not.
But that's because the front, they've had injuries to 3 or 4 different guys in the front.
Do you think they wish they had Becton?
No.
Yeah, they're probably happy to let him go.
And Becton hasn't been able to stay on the field with the Chargers.
Is Becton going to play this tonight?
But how long he holds up?
Yeah, who knows?
He's always coming out.
Okay, and here's a good one from Stevens. Hey, John, where's your Phillies hat?
Yeah, do you notice John kind of disappeared with that idea? But the Phillies, that story is for Dave Dombrowski to start to raise questions about. I mean, I thought it was kind of insulting that he would, and I like Dombrowski. I thought it was really insulting for him to ask the question. I don't know whether Bryce Harper could ever be elite again. And he's paying him a mountain of money. And the guy got hurt. He's had 2 major injuries. He plays so hard. He plays all the time. I thought that was kind of unfair. And he's got some roster juggling coming. They got a whole bunch of guys going to be free agents led by Schwarber. You know, and Schwarber wants a payday, but you know, Schwarber goes somewhere else. You think he's going to hit the same number of home runs some other place? I mean, he's made for Citizens Bank Ballpark.
Yeah, I think he'd do okay with a short porch in Yankee Stadium. You know, so yeah, that Philly hat, I got a lot of crap. People want to wear
deserved a lot of crap.
Yeah, I know. I was poking the bear when I wore that. You know, it's just I was just thinking to myself that day. I was in my closet getting dressed, and I went, oh, yeah, that Phillies hat. That'd be actually kind of fun to wear today at the podcast. And it's the cool Phillies hat. It was the maroon one, not the red one, from the Luzinski days, back when they wore those powder blues. And that's what they wore in Games 6 and 7 in that series against the Dodgers. It didn't work.
John's all about aesthetics.
No,
Jeez.
but I told you, baseball is art, and we're talking about the logo, the Dodgers.
Right.
See, there's a whole story behind it. I mean, that's the greatest thing about sports.
Okay,
let's keep on going, and it goes to Neil. I never thought I'd see Saw in a Dodger shirt.
It was clean. I put it on to celebrate the weekend. For this weekend in this series, I'm a Dave Roberts fan, okay?
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, here.
Again, I grew up in Brooklyn. You please understand I was born in Brooklyn.
Is Hacksaw a Dodger fan, See, they're all confused. They had you as a hater, and now they're thinking maybe you're a lover or maybe you're just a bandwagon guy.
Everybody on this podcast is a Dodger fan. I want you to network with everybody in your email address book and tell them Hacksaw wore Dodger gear on his podcast. And make sure you tell them we're on Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30, and the Dodger fan should join Padre fan and be part of the conversation. Now, do we have any Padre people here that would like to participate?
No, the Padre people are kind of hiding in the hedge, coming out wearing some Toronto Blue Jays gear. Yeah, the Padre fans aren't saying much. There's been some interesting talk online about who the manager's going to be. I mean, have all those other guys been interviewed? I mean, Pujols was interviewed. Has Hundley been interviewed?
Not yet that we know of. NIEBLA has, as of yesterday, I was told, had not yet been scheduled, but that's going to take place.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Flaherty is not interviewed. Esposito, the bench coach, already has, but I think that was a token interview.
Yeah, the Padres, they have a history of not interviewing the guys they should be interviewing, and then they go on to win world championships in L.A. Okay, let's go here to Bill. And he goes, hey, baseball needs a freaking floor to make these owners spend the luxury tax money they get.
Exactly, because that's what makes the National Football League a success. They have a floor to spending. You've got to spend within a very close amount to the top of the salary cap. So that means there's more money for somebody to go to Green Bay and go to Pittsburgh or go to the smaller markets, etc. Look how successful the NFL is in terms of its competitive balance. Why not baseball?
Yeah, I think it's very reasonable to do that. But I think that it'll be interesting to see what happens. Remember, people said when the Padres started spending money, and obviously they went way above what the floor would be. Mm-hmm. But it gets to a point where you question if it's sustainable in certain markets. You could have a floor, and you can raise the floor in Kansas City or Pittsburgh, like we've talked about. But they ain't going to be spending like, $300 million a year.
No, but if you're spending 140 at least, and you start to get competitive and you put yourself in a playoff race, then you become a big thing in Pittsburgh in August and September, and suddenly Pittsburgh's drawn 3 million fans. You're investing so you get the returns on the investment.
Well, but no guarantee you're going to get a return. But hopefully they would, and hopefully it would work. Because, the way, like, some of these teams, I mean, they're putting a lot. I mean, I don't have a problem, if they want to put it in their pocket, but it's a disservice to their customers.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the product becomes the product. You're profiteering.
Well, profit isn't evil, but you got to take care of your customers.
I agree.
Okay. Here's a comment here from Joseph. He goes, our Bolts will be 5-3. Stop by for a beer, Section 413.
Well, they have a chance, but can they protect Herbert? He's taken so many hits. And the flip side, do you really think the Chargers secondary is going to hold up trying to cover those 3 bigs? I mean, let's be honest, Jefferson and Addison and the tight end, those are big-time players. That's a lot of yardage per catch. Of course, you're sitting around waiting for Wentz to screw it up, and Wentz does have a history doing that.
I know, just thinking about the Chargers receivers, that Gadsden kid, he's been good. I mean, he's like really surprised me. And there were moments when Quentin Johnson, you're like, okay, he's back. He's turning into what we thought. And then there'll be like a little whoops.
Yeah, where was he last week?
And then, like you say, he disappears. But Keenan Allen is just so steady.
Route runner.
Just so, like, reliable.
Yep.
You can always go to that guy. But, Herbert doesn't have much time. I mean, he's got to get rid of that ball quick.
It's 62 hits on top of 20 sacks.
Well, think about all those offensive linemen that in the mashup, they fall and someone, steps on their leg and they get that high ankle sprain. I'm surprised that hasn't happened to Herbert.
Well, he's had, 4 major injuries at least that I know of.
But this year he's been mostly, I mean, he hasn't been.
No, but he's been whacked.
He's been whacked, yeah. Well, that's cool. Thursday Night Football's still good. I enjoy that.
We'll see.
We have football almost every day of the week these days. Okay, let's move on and go to social media. Let's get our social media friends here involved, and I want to take this one off.
I'm surprised your computer has not melted down.
I know, and I'm trying. There's a lot of guys in here that are like having great conversations, and we try to get everybody in, but people are posting like 5 or 6 different messages, and I kind of have to sift through them. I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you what I'm dealing with. Okay, here's some Padre Dodger commentary, and this is from Alejandro. Because you are idiots. Why are they the evil empire? Because they're paying players what they're worth, looking to win the World Series? So dumb. What about the Mets and Yankees with huge payroll? If they were to lose, you guys would be talking, crap what they're choking. F you.
Thank you. Now, come on. I'm just quoting what has been said and written around the country. But the Dodgers did nothing illegal. And deferred money in contracts, this is notably about Ohtani, that's happened in the past in baseball. New York Mets did it for Bobby Bonilla. He's still being paid. Now, the amount of money is a lot less than what Ohtani is getting. If it was illegal or the union thought it was really unfair, then a union would come up with some additional rules as it relates to pay structure. But at this point, they say no. Now, the Dodgers, not everybody can do it. The Dodgers, I think, have 8 players with deferrals that go out through 2036. And obviously, Ohtani's kicks in later. But they're not doing anything illegal, but they have the resources to be able to creatively do that. But if it makes you a championship team and you have the ability to do it, then you creatively finance it. Padres have backloaded contracts. Now, not deferrals per se, but the Padres, for example, they needed Pivetta. Pivetta saved him this year, but he pitched it for $1.5 million. But his number goes to $19 million this coming season. So the Padres move some dollars around, and they're going to take it from somewhere else to pay Pivetta. You can creatively finance it. So Dodgers aren't doing anything illegal.
Yeah, but no, they're not doing anything illegal. I mean, that's the whole Marcia Brady angle. They just do everything just right, and everything goes their way. But the deferrals, like the Bobby Bonilla deferral. I mean, think about Ohtani and how much of that's deferred, and it's actually to the benefit of the team, because the time money thing, the money's worth less, 30 years from now.
Right.
So
and he's deferred without interest. He took that without interest.
Oh, God.
Isn't that amazing?
See, that's the thing is they all want to play for the Dodgers, so they're willing to come together, the Dodgers, and give the Dodgers the ability to do these kind of creative deals. So the Dodgers, everything goes their way. So but we do need a different nickname than the Evil Empire.
Okay. We'll come up with one. But Alejandro, sorry. I don't agree with the last thing you said there. F you. Come on now. We do a great podcast, and I have a great sports website. Appreciate the amount of work and the content that he and I put into this on a day-by-day basis.
These guys are just smack-talking. It's just the rivalry. Don't take it personally.
Show some class.
Yeah.
Okay, we move on.
Okay, we'll talk a little bit about Mountain West football, Pac-12, and this is from Habitual Muffin. He goes, hey, as a Fresno State fan, Pac-12 is essentially the Mountain West 2.0
Agree.
as currently constructed. No way it could be what the majority of its members are former Mountain West. That said, playing Boise, San Diego State, Washington State, Oregon State, every year guaranteed is a major upgrade. Think UNLV eventually enters the fray as a 9th member. The new Mountain West champ will have to be undefeated or bust for the G6 college football playoff automatic qualifier, and they aren't built for that.
No, and I don't, even if they ran the table and somebody was undefeated, just the whole playoff structure in Division I college football is now tilted towards the super conferences. I just don't think it's going to be very easy to get many teams in. The other thing is we got a major reconstruction job at Oregon State. I mean, they are really behind the 8 ball now financially and obviously in football. And we'll see what Washington State becomes because the Beavers and the Cougars have always been the lower financed part of what was the Pac-12. I mean, in no way can they be compared to what USC, UCLA, Oregon have become. So, I mean, everybody's sales pitching, Pac-12, we're in the Pac-12. Now, Muffin, as you said, it's Mountain West 2.0. But find your level, be really good at it, and then just see if you can grow it. I wish BYU was part of the mix because that would give them a little bit more identity. I don't think there's a hell of a lot you gain from Texas State being part of this conference going forward. And the poor Mountain West, they don't have a TV contract yet announced. And they're losing all these schools.
The new one with the leftovers.
Yeah. I mean, that conference, that's the UTEPs of the world. And poor New Mexico and Wyoming and Colorado State left behind. It's just like the Mountain West is going to drop a level.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of, as an Aztec fan, we're kind of thinking we're moving on to the Pac-12, and you kind of forget about those guys.
What's left behind?
And then they added, some of the next tier down, kind of few of them came up. It's funny, you're talking about the Pac-12, and it's not the same Pac-12. And was it like a Buick commercial or something? It says it's not your father's Buick or something like that. So it's the same kind of thing. But it's still an upgrade. And this is why I agree with Muffin here, because you don't have to play the dregs of the Mountain West. You don't have to play at elevation and all those crazy road trips. You don't need to go to Wyoming and play in the snow. So... yeah, you bring along some of your buddies like Fresno State, and but you get to play Washington, Oregon State. You stay on the West Coast. It is an upgrade, and hell, if the Aztecs right now, I mean, they were getting votes for the top 25. Imagine if they run this gauntlet with Fresno, Hawaii, and Boise and win 2 out of 3. I mean, they're not going to go to the playoffs. But they're going to get a big bowl game and possibly put San Diego State football back on the map.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
All right, Muffin, thanks for being with us.
Okay, let's go over here. This is from Jay. Can't believe Hacksaw is still alive, let alone on a podcast.
And bleeping brilliant, I might add. What's the beef? What is the beef? Have you ever read my website? Do you know how much work, how much information is in my website? What is the beef? I got people that write me hostile emails.
You do.
I mean,
you show them to me.
I show them to John. It's just amazing there's people out there.
Oh, God, some of the hate mail you get.
If you don't like the talent, why are you exposing yourself to the greatness of this talent or the information this talent presents? Come on now.
Hey, man, this one man's opinion column is strongly worded, so it's all in there. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that have rediscovered you online, right? They listen to you on the radio in the 90s and the 2000s. Maybe they listen to you on Sirius XM. But now they're like available. They're walking around town with their phone. They're watching Hacksaw,
And one thing we've never figured out quite how to promote it, because I don't have the opportunity to be on radio to promote it every day of the week, that I'm also doing this mega podcast.
Well, you should ask the guys at KUSI if you can put in a plug.
Yeah, but that's only once a week on Saturday morning.
But that's at least it's something. But it's been growing organically. I mean, you're about to bust through 9,000 subscribers on YouTube. The Instagram count is like right around 20,000. I mean, it's doing well. I mean, we had more time and money. We could promote it more. But, dude, people are coming back. They're rediscovering it.
Prime example. What was a commentary we did? Was it Monday that just exploded? Was it the whole podcast that just went haywire?
It was. It was the whole live stream. The recorded version of the full live stream always lives up on YouTube, and that thing took off. And it was the Dodger talk about the Shohei Ohtani game. That's what it was, and everyone was praising the Dodgers, and oh my God, Ohtani had 3 home runs, struck out 10, and
we had like 3,500 viewers within 3 hours.
Yeah, it was something like that.
And it just continues to grow.
Yeah, so it was a lot more. Yeah, so, viewers beget more viewers, too. That's why we like to have our fans give us thumbs up, and that helps the algorithm and helps us grow it. So thanks to all you for helping this thing grow, because it's been growing organically.
Jay, Hacksaw is back.
Hacksaw is back. Okay, all right, let's go here. A little Padre talk. This is from Al. He goes, Machado and Tatis are not winners. Looks like Hacksaw and the San Diego fans drank that beeswax Kool-Aid long ago.
Well, there's no doubt that when you play as many games as they play and you put up consistently really good numbers, you're a really good player. But at the end of the season, that's the most important time of the year. And we have a career batting average of .211 for your whole life at the most important time of the year. I got questions about Machado. And in terms of Tatis, most important time of the year, swinging at every pitch out of the strike zone, and the series is over just like that, and he's going home for the offseason? Where's the intellect? Where's the diligence to be focused in about taking balls, taking pitches, working the count in your favor? And it did not happen again, and Cronenworth went over again. So they're huge to me. It was a huge letdown. And for them to be in the pennant race, and the Dodgers had a 9.5 game lead and went down to a half game, and the Padres could not close the deal and get there for a wide variety of reasons, injuries.
They got him above him for a couple of days. That's when we scheduled the parade in downtown San Diego when we were in first place for like a few days in August. Al posts a lot on the YouTube channel. He's a good guy, but he's a Dodger fan. So Dodger lovers always look for an opportunity to kind of kick the Padres, kick their little brother, and that's what that is. But there were moments in the season where we thought everything was going to go the Padres' way, and then there are moments where it seems to go sideways, and it's like that every year. Now, the Dodgers had their lull. The Dodgers had their sideways thing, but you could still look in the crystal ball, and you could see what August and September were going to be like.
That's what Andrew Friedman kept talking about.
Yeah, and you could see the timeline of all these pitchers coming back, and you're thinking, how are they going to construct a playoff roster when they've got 40 guys that are deserving?
And Andrew Friedman's closing comment on the weekend. Win the trade deadline? Who cares? The Dodgers win in October. That's was a shot at the 619-858-760 area code.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, here's an interesting comment. This is part of the whole Schilt thing. This is from BN2870. He goes, I'm a Cardinals fan. And to give some insight from media insiders, Schilt had a reputation for cussing out his coaching staff and throwing them under the bus. The Cardinals general manager only stated reason for firing him was, quote, philosophical differences. But intel from folks who knew the clubhouse made it clear he was a very different person behind the scenes.
The one interview that I saw, and he'd been silent for years, Matt Holliday made a comment in St. Louis the day after Mike walked away and said, I never could understand why that manager, Schilt, would hire all these guys that he wanted to hire to work under him in St. Louis and then denigrate them in private meetings and act the way he did towards the people he hired that you need as a support staff, to the point where Cardinal coaches started to leave. And then we find out here almost the exact same thing happened. So it's a shortcoming in Schilt as a person, which is sad to say because I thought at baseball IQ, I thought he was a really good manager, and I thought he motivated his players. He protected his players. But obviously there was a shortcoming there, and he burned out. So hopefully life after baseball for Schilt will be peaceful. It's too bad we lost this window, and this spins back to what I've said since the minute John and I started doing this podcast 3 years ago. This window for this franchise to be a World Series team is here, and it's been closing. And it's like this now. And now they got massive pitching problems, and there's budgetary questions, etc. And they're going to have a new manager and a new coaching staff. So I'm disappointed. And Matt Holliday hit the nail on the head. Why would you act that way after you hired? These are your people. You're supposed to be a team. Your people. I don't have an answer, but that's who Schilt was, and it obviously worked to his negative again.
I don't care what Matt Holliday says.
He doesn't touch on play.
Right, exactly. There's a whole other theory that I hear chatter about on social media. I don't know how true this is, but the angle of the story is that the culture inside the Padres headquarters, amongst the baseball operations and even the front office, is dysfunctional, toxic, and that we saw the same thing with Melvin, where as soon as Melvin left, we started getting all these stories, about how bad he really was. And now with Schilt, we're kind of hearing all these stories, about how bad he was with his coaches, because we never heard a lick of this when he was managing the team. So the theory by some people is that, this is just all part of leadership, and it's a part of a problem in the way the Padres run their organization.
Well, historically, it's right there in front of you. A.J. Preller's gone through 5 managers in 11 years.
Yeah.
Did he make mistakes? Yes. Did he give guys chances? Yes. Wrong hires? Obviously, because we continue to have this turnover. Preller can make the statement, at a press conference, I want a manager for 10 years. Well, you haven't had a manager for 10 years. Hell, we're not getting them through 2 to 3 years with most of these guys. So something's amiss, not right in there, and they got to hire the right guy. But again, there's so many other factors now that are in play. It's just not hiring a manager and a coaching staff. You're going to have to hire a whole new pitching staff. The roster's got issues.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues. But I wonder if you get a new manager, a new approach to the game. I mean, do you like the whole idea of Petco, just make contact and pass the baton? Or are you more of a Earl Weaver 3-run bomb kind of guy? I mean, what philosophy should they bring into the dugout?
It takes an awful lot of nickels and dimes to make a quarter.
Yeah.
Awful lot of base hits and stolen bases to manufacture rallies. Now, if you can rent a bat to plug in the middle of that thing and hit some home runs, that kind of changes everything.
Yeah, it does.
So I think that's what they'll do is they'll try to find a bat to play first base or to play left field, a consistent power hitter in addition to what they've already got on the roster.
Ramon Laureano is our power hitter.
That's okay, but that might be every other Thursday.
Yeah. I mean, he plays above standard.
Okay, let's take one more here.
Okay, let's get some hockey talk in here, and this is from Quattro. Hey, this is when you were wearing your Oilers sweatshirt. Hey, what's with the Oilers sweatshirt, Lee? Not gulls or ducks? Pods need a veteran manager who can balance old school and modern over-analytics or weighing heavily on on-base percentage and WAR only, English and Spanish speaking, and you could tell AJ to piss off.
Listen, when you're driving on the highway, make sure you use your turn signal because, you kept turning one lane to another with all these different topics.
Yeah, there was a lot there.
Yeah. Hey, I got all kinds of gear at home with all kinds of logos. I'm sure I'll wear a Ducks or a Kings thing for you just...
Hacksaw on the runway.
Yeah, to satisfy you. I'll be intrigued to see whether Pujols is the guy. Only concern I have is we're not hiring a guy to satisfy some quotient with Machado and Tatis. Hiring a manager and a leader. Now, he's got zero experience in that area. He's got phenomenal baseball knowledge, credibility as a man. But maybe you surround him with good support people, and maybe this works. But we'll see if Pujols winds up being the guy, or if they go with somebody who knows the culture of Padre baseball, guys that have worked from within that are closely linked to Preller. It's going to be fascinating to see. I don't think it's going to happen real quick. I think it'll be post-World Series as it relates to the Padres. Hey, listen, we hope you've enjoyed this podcast. This has been fun. See? You sent me the memo, said dress accordingly, and I did.
You did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll see what I wear on Monday. Hey, listen, podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. 9 locations to serve you. Got projects, they got materials. Looking for ideas? Go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things they have to offer. You can help us grow this thing a great deal. Thumbs up, 5-star rating, hit the follow button, and, of course, invite you to check my website. I write on it every day of the week. Join me on social media. Take part in my Hacksaw mini polls. Lots of ways for you to stay with us. John, here comes Thursday Night Football. First pitch World Series. And we got the Aztecs on Saturday. Damn, what a great sports weekend. And we're starting early.
Yeah, and the NBA's cooking. I mean, there's a lot going on, but Thursday Night Football, Vikings, like the question was how many Vikings fans are showing up at SoFi?
Wearing purple.
It could be 50-50.
Yeah, at least, if not more. Hey, listen, thank you for being with us. Like I tell John, have yourself a great sports weekend. We'll talk to you Monday at 1:30. Thanks for joining us on Hacksaw's Headlines.
Join us again for Hacksaw's Headlines on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And find the audio version on your favorite podcast apps.
Touchdown, San Diego!
For more content, go to LeeHacksawHamilton.com.